Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Uncle Will, and to my left we have
Tony Larry, the one and only, baby.
That's right. We're back. We're back for another episode of Brothers, Both Side of the Bars. So, like we always do, we got to ask you guys to make sure that you guys subscribe to the show. Make sure that you like,
Tap in.
share, do all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Please help this platform to grow. So, with that, we're going to be talking about on today's episode the Michigan Life Law. The Michigan Life Law, aka 650 Lifer Law.
650.
The 650. So listen, you have a lot of brothers and sisters that was, I want to say, victimized by this law. Okay? The whole point of the law was to remove kingpins, or should I say drug lords, from the street. Now, it was established, should I say, signed into law by the state back in 1978. That's when they first signed it into law. And like I was saying, bro, it was designed to get those kingpins, or should I say, them drug lords off the streets. When I think about some different like drug lords, different gangs and stuff like that, like the Chamberlain brothers, Young Boys Incorporated. You can even talk about White Boy Rick. Different individuals or gangs like that. Now the whole concept is if you got arrested with 650 grams of cocaine or heroin, you was eligible to receive life in prison because that was
or cocaine,
the law.
heroin or cocaine.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, cocaine or heroin, you would get hit with life sentence. And all this was back in the 80s. When the
I wasn't even
crack,
born then.
No, what was you, 80?
I'm 83.
83.
This was that they approved it in the 70s.
Yeah, but it really didn't take effect until the pandemic, or should I say the cocaine, the crack epidemic really took effect back in the 80s. You talking about from California in all the major urban areas.
All the major urban
Georgia, Atlanta, then you got Detroit, Chicago. Man, that, I'm telling you, living in that shit back then, bro, it was hectic.
I know y'all seen some shit.
Man, I was seeing, you talking about classmates, moms, how off that shit. I mean, you had mothers leaving kids and getting high off of it. You know what I'm saying? For days, kids wasn't eating. The welfare check was being spent on crack. Back then, they had food stamp books, so people would sell their food stamps just to get the cash to be able to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, shit, I had it where my school clothes, all kind of shit was being taken and sold, or people. I'm trying not to get too personal on things because it's like it was really some traumatic.
It was an epidemic back then.
Bro, you talking about people taking frozen meat out the freezers and out there selling food, taking food from your kids' mouths, bro. That's how hectic that shit was. So I kind of understand the purpose of the law somewhat, even though another aspect of it is the government was kind of helping to introduce that shit into our communities and stuff too. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother subject. But when you talk about the cause and effect of it, of that epidemic back there,
it hit the ghetto hard.
It hit the ghetto hard. But I just honestly feel like it was designed
for
to
the ghetto.
Hit the ghetto. Yeah.
Yeah, it was designed for the ghetto.
Yeah. And
but once it reached the suburban area, that's when it got whoa. But now it's here
because it trickled over from our communities because you had white suburbanites, white kids, white people coming over to buying the drugs out of our community. You dig what I'm saying? And taking it over there and, to their community and getting high. And so now the government like, oh hell no. We have to stop this.
You're finding more and more kids
getting
white kids
addicted.
My
to the
fault.
drugs.
Not racist enough, but we found more and more white
I
kids.
mean,
Then
shit,
it
ain't being
became
racist. This is being real.
yeah. Then it became the 650 and
Right.
everything, like because it was starting to hit the suburban areas. But
Yeah. Then you had the president, or should I say Nancy Reagan, with the "This is your mind on drug" campaigns and
any
stuff
question,
like that. You know
no
what I'm
to
saying?
drugs. And
Say no to drugs. Right. Say no to
Yeah.
drugs and all that. But when it was just directly affecting our community,
You ain't hear nothing.
you didn't see all that. You know what I'm saying? But then what it did was with the 650 law, now you have it's in our community, and it's targeting young black kids that was out there selling the drugs. Now I'm not taking away saying that some of them shouldn't have been removed from the streets, but when you got a 16 or a 17-year-old, 18-year-old kid being locked away for life just for selling drugs, and keep in mind, selling drugs isn't considered to be a violent crime.
Yeah.
Okay, you have murderers that was getting what they call the plea deals, getting out, and they took a life.
10 years.
You know what I'm saying? They took lives. But
Exactly.
you have an 18-year-old doing life all because he or she.
He sold a gram or two.
Come on, man. Over 650 grams. So let's get into it, people. Okay, so like I said, the law was passed in 1978. It was mandated life in prison for possessing or delivering 650 plus grams, like I said, of cocaine and heroin, right? So the original target of this law was supposed to be for kingpins, was supposed to be for drug lords. But in doing my research on this topic, a lot of kingpins was not taken down.
No, look at it, Griselda, Pablo. You know what I'm saying? All these people were still able to do what they had to do. They
was out for a long time.
They affected the world, so the United States, so crazy. It was crazy.
I mean, think about this too. When you are a kingpin, okay, you're a drug lord, which is what this law was originally made for.
Mm-hmm.
You have knowledge of what's going on. So a lot of times the drug lords were making deals. They get plea deals. So you make a deal and say, okay, well, so and so is selling over here. So and so got this, whatever, going on over there. And so what they would do, what the federal government would do, is make plea deals, and this person probably only do, let's say, 2, 5, 10 years in prison, and they're getting out.
Slap on the wrist.
Slap on the wrist. While you have that local drug dealer,
The low end,
getting time in prison
15,
because
20, 25 years.
police found a certain amount of grams of drugs on this person, and they never had a record. First time offense, again, non-violent offense, and now this 17-year-old is going to prison for life. But you got the ones who's flooding the streets, who's flooding the stuff in our communities, are behind the scenes making deals and getting away scot-free. When you think about that, because I know that you never sold, I mean, you wasn't a drug dealer.
Right.
But when you think about stuff like that, how does that make you feel? No, I mean, because you went in as a kid yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if you got sentenced for life, and you was what?
I went in at 15.
Bro, how would that make you feel knowing that you were a kid going in for life?
And I ain't killed nobody. I just gave somebody what they wanted. That'd be crazy to me. I mean, I know it's an illegal drug or whatever, but for life,
Right.
15, it's my life.
For selling drugs.
That's crazy.
Now, I have dealt with a lot of inmates on the inside that has met the requirement under the 650 law to plead their case now to be able to get released. But what I found, though, is that A lot of these guys then did over 20 years, 25 years plus. I know one guy over 30 years in prison, bro, up in Jackson right now, and no tickets. He haven't. He said that in his younger years he was getting in trouble because when you were young, you know.
Yeah, but after 5 years in MDOC prison, after 5 years they erased them tickets. If you ain't caught a ticket in 5 years, all the tickets you caught before don't even show up.
And so, ticket free, but still locked up in prison because of a nonviolent crime for selling dope. Let that register in your head. You went in, you haven't had a chance to sow your wild oats. You haven't had a chance to fall in love.
Pay a bill.
Pay a bill on your own home. None of that, because you was taken off the streets and locked up and given life as a kid, and you really couldn't even register that. That you're giving life for selling drugs.
I couldn't register the 6 years for me, but let alone life. You feel me? Like oh my God, like.
Okay, so we said that it was for traffickers, right? Drug traffickers. Those individuals who's supposed to have been the heavyweights. The reform for this law came in 1998. It was finally knocked down, saying that it was unconstitutional to be sentencing a kid to life in prison. Now, you and I on plenty of other shows, we have agreed on some things and we have disagreed on some things. The one thing in regards to this law, I think that you and I can agree upon that it was too much.
Way too much.
It was just too much, especially because it's nonviolent. And I take the same position that my brother's on with this in regards to
about time.
This was something that a person wanted. That person that person who was on the drugs, he or she came to him and said, "Hey, let me get a rock." Okay. Now, was it still decimating our community? Yes, it was. You know what I'm saying? But the dope dealer didn't put a gun to their head and say, "Take this rock, buy this rock from me." At that point, that would have been considered as a violent crime. But all they did was sold them the drugs.
Gave them what they wanted and received something.
Now, and keep in mind, back in the 80s, it wasn't a whole lot of resources far as to make money. So a lot of kids, you have single parent homes, you have mama uneducated, you have so many different things against you that you seeing a local dope dealer living large, wearing those Sherlins, driving a BMW, driving an Audi, and you thinking like, shit, I can do that. You're not thinking that I could do that and wind up getting life in prison, though.
Right. You're thinking, I'm just trying to live.
Now, they did a repeal also back in 2002, and the repeal, it added even more reforms to that law. But the key thing is that no one could never be given life anymore for just drug possession of 650 grams plus. That's the key benefit to this law. When you was in prison, did you ever encounter anyone that was up in prison for life for selling drugs?
Not for selling drugs.
Okay, just for like murder though.
Yeah, just for like murder, something like that. Like whatever, like it was, life was lost. It wasn't just like a drug deal and okay, yeah, you got caught with this and okay, we gonna lock you up for the. No, people I was around really did some stuff, but the whole thing is that to give somebody life for not even killing somebody, not even harming nobody.
Yeah, for a non-violent offense.
Yeah, but I ain't threatened nobody. I ain't did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just simply said, here, thank you.
Wait, well, you know the
and then the drugs wouldn't even kill, like crack cocaine wouldn't even killing people like that back then. It was the heroin.
Yeah, but I mean the thing is though, the problem that I had with it was what it was doing to the community.
Yeah, not
it really
was
destroyed
destroying the community. Like the parents couldn't even provide for their own kids because they were so busy chasing the high.
Man, I'm telling you, I am so glad that our moms didn't get caught up in that.
Me too.
You know, I mean, Mom, if you're looking at this, much love, much love.
We appreciate you.
I mean, but like I said,
you are appreciated.
Witnessing other kids in my class going through some of those struggles, being raised on the south side of Chicago, we talking about in the WiLl projects, they're tore down now. But witnessing that stuff, man, that shit was scary.
Crazy.
Now, we're going to watch a video. Before we get into this video, though, I want to give you guys some context. This involves two individuals that was the first two people that was arrested under the 650 under the Michigan 650 law. Now, before we get into the video, I just want to say that the young lady at the time, she had to wind up doing over 20-something years before they finally let her out. Her name is Jadonna, okay? Jadonna Young. She was 24, dating a OG by the name of James Gully. James Gully was considered to be a local kingpin in Detroit back in the early 80s, late 70s. And without going into detail, let you guys watch the video. When we come back, we'll me and my brother's gonna touch up on the video that you guys just watched. But I want you to see how easy, when the government put laws out there, how easily the non-targeted individuals can get hurt because of certain laws. We'll be back.
She didn't murder anyone. She didn't commit a violent crime. Jadonna Young was given a life sentence because police found her boyfriend's drugs in her car. She was sentenced under a Michigan law that was supposed to get drug kingpins off the streets with a mandatory life sentence. But it was never intended to lock up permanently first offenders like Jadonna Young. She was one of the first people convicted under that law, and 2 decades later, her story finally helped persuade state officials to rewrite it. Now, Michigan's change of heart has changed Jadonna Young's life.
I just said, thank you, God. I am a blessed woman to be able to be here today.
You spent 20-plus years in prison.
Yeah.
And you consider yourself a blessed woman?
I consider myself a blessed woman, yes.
Jadonna Young was blessed with freedom as she rode into the neat Detroit neighborhood she hadn't seen since 1978. Less than an hour after being released from prison, she got a warm homecoming. A hug from her mother, Irene, tears from family and friends, and smiles for the camera, which captured Jadonna's first taste of freedom in more than 2 decades. There was a lot to digest. Not so much the ice cream. They had that in prison. But the fact that she was able to eat it with a real spoon. Now she could do something that was impossible behind bars.
Oh. Look at that.
Reach out and touch someone. Even her first call to her parole officer.
Hello, Mrs. Jenkins. My name is Jadonna Young. I was told I was released today, and I was told to call you.
Meant a new experience with voicemail. The last time Jadonna had been home, she was 24, the single mother of a little boy named Delanio, a graduate of junior college. She'd never been arrested, let alone convicted of any crime. But Jadonna had fallen in with a bad crowd. She'd been dating 52-year-old James Gully, a free-spending businessman who owned a car wash and gave her gifts, like a new Cadillac. Were you greedy at those days?
Probably yes.
Wanted material things?
Materialistic, very much so. And there was one officer, he came to me, he says, "Whose drugs are these?" And I'm like, "What?" He says, "Whose drugs are these?" And they put me in one car and they put him in another car. We sat there and they drove off. And the nightmare began.
How did you get into this situation?
How I ended up there was my choice of companion.
But you didn't know he was in the drug trade.
No. There was no, I still say this today, there was no reason for him to have been. I know he had a couple of businesses that were very profitable, or I thought were profitable.
And Jadana learned one more tough lesson that night about something called the 650 Lifer Law. It was a one-strike-and-you're-out law aimed at drug kingpins. Anyone convicted of possessing more than 650 grams, or 1.5 pounds, of narcotics must be sentenced to life in prison without parole.
When they stopped us, the same officer that asked me whose drugs were those, he told me, he says, "Do you know that they just passed a law that you can get life for this?"
Is that the first you'd heard of the 650 Lifer Law?
The first I've heard of it. And it still didn't register then.
Even though Jadana had no criminal record and swore she knew nothing about the drugs in her car, she and Gully became the first people sentenced under the new law, but not the last. The law sent more than 200 people to prison for life with no hope of parole. It was the toughest drug law in the country, tougher, much tougher than federal drug laws. But did it work? This Michigan law was supposed to catch the big fish of the drug trade, but it seems to have netted mostly small fry. About 85% of those convicted had no prior prison records. 7 of those sent to prison for the rest of their lives were teenagers.
I'm not arguing that anyone was an angel. I'm arguing that the punishment doesn't fit the crime or the individual. It's a one-size-fits-all penalty.
Laura Sager leads a Michigan group called Families Against Mandatory Minimum Sentences. She says the 650 Lifer Law has put away people with little or no role in the drug trade. People like David Lester, whose girlfriend accused him of being her drug supplier, a charge he denies. Or Mindy Brass, a California businesswoman convicted of helping an acquaintance buy cocaine. Or David Ryan, an addict convicted of selling cocaine to an undercover cop.
The laws sweep up low-level mules, addicts, first-time offenders, and give them the same long sentences as someone who may have a much larger role in the drug trade.
Let me challenge you. This law was designed, its principal motivation in passing it was to get at the drug kingpins. Anybody who carries drugs over a certain amount, we're going to really clamp down on them. Now, what's wrong with that?
Well, interestingly enough, the higher you are in the drug trade, the more likely you're going to be able to give information to prosecutors for lighter sentences. The more likely you're able to employ very good defense counsel.
For instance, Timothy Allen Dick was arrested the same month as Jadana with more than 650 grams of cocaine. But he cooperated with federal prosecutors, testified against others, and served 2 years. As Tim Allen, he went on to a successful career in movies and television.
Oh, I hate when you do that.
But Jadana was not able to make that kind of deal.
Right there, bro.
No,
So-
we don't condone the snitching.
Say we don't condone the snitching.
We don't condone the snitching, bro.
Okay. So Tony Leary said we don't condone the snitching. You know what I'm saying? Because, first of all, thank you guys for coming back. Because after you watch this video, you was able to also see that it's some injustice there when it comes down to this law. Mm-hmm. So, Miss Young, arrested at 24, dating an OG cat, Mr. Gully, 52 years old. She had a kid. Her kid had to watch her grow. Had to grow up 20-some years, visiting his mama back and forth in prison. Wind up having his own kid over a law that police, those local police departments, could just tack you with if they want to, and the courts abide by it, and now your life is just ruined because of
Just
this
because you
650
know
law.
somebody.
Just because you know someone. They never said that they proved that the drugs was hers,
Or that she was dealing them.
like she was. But the police knew.
They knew that who
They
they
already had
belonged
him.
to.
They already had him on the radar. They already know who this dude is. You know what I'm saying? They never had her on the radar saying that she was a drug dealer, nothing like that. But because she was in the car with her man, they decided, you know what? We're gonna go ahead.
We go charge
and
you
hit
too.
you with it.
You're
Now,
just as guilty.
was it because she wasn't? Because in the story they didn't tell. They didn't go into full detail on everything. Were they trying to coerce her to testify against them?
Right.
And she said no. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know all that. But what I do know, based up on further research, that they knew the drugs was not hers.
It's not hers.
But guilty by affiliation. Or, as they used to say back in the days, they probably still do, driving while black. But because she was a young black woman, she got hit with this crime, no history of selling drugs, and she get her life destroyed. Not being there for a kid because of this law. Now, we're going to go back into what my brother was talking about when we first got started the video about the snitching. If you remember, it was a white man up in there who got caught who actually possessing over 650 grams of cocaine. He made a deal and only got 2 years in federal prison. Tim, the
Two-man Taylor.
That's right, Detroit's own comedian Tim Allen was able to negotiate a deal because, back like what I was saying earlier, if you're a drug lord, you someone higher, you can point fingers, make deals, and you can get out of doing all that hard time. In this case, he only got 2 years. Think about this, people. If the law is designed to give you life for possessing 650 grams plus of narcotics, cocaine, heroin, you have an individual that actually got caught with this quantity plus, but only done 2 years. 2 years. Because he told on this person, this person, this person. But think about the individual that actually got life.
And wasn't even a dealer. That's
Got life
crazy.
for affiliation, for association.
Even if you man a 2-year deal.
Even if you did have 650, that's what like what under a pound and a half, like a pound and a half or something like that. You get to go to prison for life. No more Christmas with your kids, your family. And if you're 17, 18, 9 times 10, you probably had no kids. You're going away for life. You don't experience nothing that normal young men and women experience from teenage years through the early 20s. All that's taken away from you. Now you in prison. Family members falling off.
They gone.
Grandma gone. Mama passed away. Dad. All because of a cocaine possession or distributing. And you're not even the head man. But you got this one guy, Tim Allen, which the dude is funny to me. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he got a chance to get off with just 2 years in prison.
And took it.
Their case was only a couple of months apart, bro. Couple of months apart. It wasn't said that he was the third person to get caught up on the 650 law because he never got hit with the 650 law.
Never got hit with it.
Because he made a deal. And which is what a lot of drug dealers, high-end drug dealers, did before the government started using that RICO law even more. But hell, I think some of the guys who did RICO, if they made some deals, some of them didn't get slandered with it as much either, I don't think. But we dealing with the 650. So when you look at somebody like Tim Allen, who got caught with more than 650 grams during that time, and able to go on and have a successful life, and still got a top-rated show on today. How do that make you feel thinking about shit like that?
It's always the ones who ain't right get the blessings. That's how you be feeling though. Like they ain't got to stay solid.
I mean, but bro,
It's bold.
Let's be honest. Those who actually did commit the crime and got arrested, who did get the 650 life charge, they wasn't solid, but they didn't deserve life.
They didn't deserve life. But what I'm saying,
but this dude actually met the criteria, though.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's always the ones that deserve it that don't ever get it. It's like you hit the peons, you hit the pins, the pawns harsher than you do the king.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? But it's supposed to be set up to eliminate the kingpins. That's what I'm saying. It's like it ain't. It's crazy, but when you got the money, that's what a lot of people follow.
I mean, but now we don't know necessarily that Tim Allen was super rich, but hell, moving all that kind of weight, he should have had some money stashed up. But I'm looking at, and I'm not the one that always drop the race card. You know what I'm saying? But the racial undertone on this thing has to be looked at. Okay, you got this middle class white dude. No one knew him because he's not the Tim Allen that we know today. He was a dope dealer back in the days. Was able to make a deal to only get 2 years in prison. But an individual who they know is not a dope dealer because of association affiliation wound up doing over 20-some years. But was hit originally with life. But had to do over 20-some years. Where is the justice in this law? And this is why we're talking about this law. Because a lot of our people, a lot of our communities was decimated with this law. Because it's not fair. It's not a fair law at all. Because you're targeting mainly young black men. Because that's what it hit. Our young black men.
That's it. It hit the hood.
I mean, it hit them hard. Even though what they were doing was wrong, selling drugs, but at the end of the day, I know I'm a parole officer.
Nobody, bro.
I know I work in the criminal justice system, but back then, it was hard to eat.
It was. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And you gotta provide, bro. You can't just have these kids out here starving and you ain't got a roof over your head. What's next? You know, it's cold. I gotta do something. And then the bad part about it is the government put it here. They brought it. It can't get across that. It can't get across them seas and nothing without the government.
I mean, it was being brought overseas. It wasn't like it was being grown in Georgia.
Yeah, they ain't
Idaho potatoes.
People
you know,
was building
like
tunnels
that.
And doing all that crazy stuff that they doing now. This was coming across the seas, like through their cargo, and they put it on the streets. Same way with the guns. You know what I'm saying? Like they put these guns out here. All these guns.
Bro.
That's another story.
The one thing that I do want to touch up on in that era, though, with it did, I mean, the drugs did increase a lot of violence in our communities. Mm-hmm. Okay. So not only did it ruin our neighborhoods in regards to appearance, and it ruined the family dynamic on things, but it did bring a lot of violence. You had a lot of these young guys out there just really, it was like a wild, wild west in the 80s. In urban cities, a lot of deaths. When you look at videos from L.A., Detroit, Chicago, hell, even in Missouri, you know what I'm saying? These different countries, these little country city areas, rural areas, the crack epidemic was crazy, but the monies that was being made was also crazy. You had young teenagers being millionaires, doing all that stuff, but they were not wise enough to invest that money properly.
Oh no, they blew through it.
They blew through it, and it caused them, because again, mentally, they wasn't, mature enough to understand. You don't have to be killing and doing all this other stuff. Take that money and invest it. Do something positive. But a lot of them was bringing so much attention on to them. It was easy for them to get hit with that law. When you were 16, 17-year-old driving around in a Mercedes-Benz, no license, you
that
got
year
meat
made.
coats on.
Made in that year.
You know what I'm saying? Brand new.
New meat.
You're-
New bus.
You're asking the federal government, the
$30,000
government
in your
to come and
pocket.
get you. Now,
Tax free.
Now, me talking to individuals who got hit up under that 650 law, a lot of them had to have regrets. A lot of them realized the errors of their ways in regards to that. Some of them, just like I said, like we was talking about earlier, that it was a nonviolent crime. They feel like I did my time because, I should have been locked up because of what I was out there doing. But I didn't pass what they feel like they didn't pass their required time. 10 years. You got some guys doing that 20. Like I said, I know a guy right now over 30-some years. They felt like, hey, my time is done. Let me free. And I do applaud the Senate, the Michigan Senate, in trying to get these guys on out of there. And they have moved from the 18-year-olds. I think they concentrate on the 19-year-olds and stuff now. So they're getting it together. But it's just a point that it shouldn't have never happened, because it makes you sit back and think about what if that person wouldn't have had done 10 years, let alone 15, 20 years. What could have been right now?
Exactly.
But you got Tim Allen, who is a world-known comedian.
Met
TV
all the
shows.
requirements.
He met all the requirements for being a lifer.
Still just got a spank on the hand.
And
It ain't about what you know. It's about who you know.
it makes
And
you
what you
think
got.
that it's racist.
Yeah.
It and like, my brother, he got a habit of always trying to point the finger, accusing,
I call it paying attention to the facts.
he has his ways of, blaming the system for trying to keep it down. But in this instance, you hit the nail with the hammer directly, because I even feel like that was some straight up injustice that was done to Miss Young. I don't know what is her life like now. Like I said, that was over, I want to say about 35 years or more ago. But I want to say that I really thank God that you were able to get on out that system, and I'm thank God that no more individuals have to be caught up under this law, as far as being a young teenagers going away for life. And did you know that the Senate also passed legislation saying that if you're under 17, 18, you're a kid and you commit a murder, they can't even be charged, sentenced to life anymore either.
Oh yeah. They just a couple of my people just got back on their charges and stuff, saying that because unfortunately I was sent to prison at 15, and a couple of them guys in there had some stuff going on, and they had natural lives.
Yeah,
They wasn't coming home.
but this is for murder. This
Yeah.
is actually violent crime.
Yeah, for murder. A couple of them had murder crimes, and it's life. Like at 14, they was younger than me. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, dang, boy, you got natural life. Like,
Natural life, but the government, the Senate, overturned that and stuff too now. So now you have to at least
You got a date. It might not be right away, but
no, it's not gonna be right away because you're gonna do some time. Because I think even with the lifer, even with the drug possession, if you get caught with over 650 and more, you're gonna at least do between at least a minimum of 17 to 20 years in prison. So you're gonna do some time, but at least you'll be eligible. Because keep in mind, the 650 lifer, you was not eligible.
not even eligible.
That's the key word. Eligibility, non-eligibility. With the 650, you was not eligible for parole consideration. Now, no matter what the amount of drugs that you have, being a teenager, being a youngster, you would not be doing life in prison. As well as someone that committed murder as a kid, you would not be doing life in prison and stuff too. So, again, I just want to, like I said, applaud the government up on that. With that, though, as we get ready to wrap up, what would you say to those? Because I have talked. I run my mouth a lot when I'm working inside the prison. I do because I just be so interested in finding out.
Yeah, I mean,
the
people
history.
people lives.
You know what I'm saying? Of people who done all this time within the prison. I mean, because think about it. If you talk to a person that done 30 years in prison, he or she has seen so many changes. Mm-hmm. They have seen so many things. There's so many things that they had to endure. You don't just sit in one prison. You get transferred to different prisons in time.
Based on your level. You might even get transferred from a level 2 to another level 2.
You see what I'm saying? So you could be downstate, be sent up north for a couple of years. You can be up north, then sent back downstate, and you happy as hell now because you downstate, right? It's you've been told how many times to go to bed. You've been told how many times for count. You've been told when it's time to go eat, when it's time to go back home again. You know what I'm saying? Which is your housing unit.
Your cell.
You know what I'm saying? You done experienced so much stuff in 30 something years. And so I like to ask a lot of questions just to see, you know, and a lot of guys don't mind sharing it. But what is your thought in regards to the 650 law and how a bunch of the people, like you said, you just talked to one dude who, in regards to the lifer law being changed, what is your thought based upon your experience up in there interacting with some of them guys who got life as a youngster?
It ain't cool. It ain't good, man, because, okay, first off, this is a child. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And the whole purpose of the law was to attack the kingpins. Y'all not even attacking the kingpins. Y'all attacking somebody who just... He probably ain't even invested in it. Kingpin probably got him just being a mule. You know what I'm saying? This all you know. I throw you a couple of dollars. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But y'all ain't even attacking the kingpins. The kingpins is still here. Yeah. They're still supplying. They're still doing everything. So what's the purpose of the law? What's the purpose of the law? You know what I'm saying? Like y'all ain't taking the drugs off the street.
No, because even 2026 is still here.
It's still here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a purposeless law. It's just to keep what? The prisons to full capacity. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they keep making money. That's what it's about.
Well, I want to say in regards to this is that the 650 law, my honest opinion, it was a biased law. It was a racist law because to me, when on its inception, I feel like those who was there, who signed it into existence, knew that it was going to target the black and brown communities. They knew that it was going to have a devastating effect, especially after they seen some of their own community people coming into our community, buying those same drugs and coming back, and it's affecting their community. I'm glad that the law has changed, that no more of our young men and women can be threatened with life, let alone be given life, that they will eventually have a chance to get on out here and be productive citizens, to be able to potentially give back. Because I have seen a lot of brothers that have gotten out under this 650 law, have come out and created their own non-profit organizations to help give back to individuals that's currently incarcerated, to help them with their cases. It's called passing it forward. You know what I'm saying? They didn't experience these things, and they're working with the community to help overturn these biased, crazy, disgusting laws that has done nothing but even hurt our community even more. So I just want to say in the future, let's continue to try to support these young men and women that do finally get out.
Yes.
And start these organizations. I'm looking forward to having some of them onto the show in the near future. I have been talking to a couple of groups, so I'm looking forward to getting them on camera to speak their piece and everything. And so moving forward, I just want to say thank you guys again for watching this week's episode. And like me and my brother say, please subscribe.
Tap in.
Tap into this show. Make sure that you not only view it but share it and leave comments. You know what I'm saying? We welcome comments. Leave comments and we'll make sure that we respond to them at a later date. But until next episode, I want to say peace. God bless. Next time.